It is time for another Pink Hibiscus Live, and I'm excited every week for my Pink Hibiscus Lives, but I'm really excited about this one in particular because in the research and getting prepared for this live, I've learned so much about honey. So tonight we are speaking to Fiona Moffat from Rosebery Honey, who is a backyard beekeeper and has basically transitioned from the corporate world into, keeping bees in the backyard and producing the most delectable honey. I'm a huge honey fan. I'm allergic to bees. So I'm scared of bees, but I love what they produce. And I always knew that there was so much more to honey than it just being super delectable on crumpets and in tea and all of that sort of thing. But it's not until I did some more research that I found out just how amazing this product is. And it's not just honey that bees produce that is amazing. There is another substance that we're going to chat about. I'm just adding Fee now to our live. So Fee's going to talk to us about her experiences and also how amazing honey is. Hello, Miss Fee.
Hey.
Look at you. Stunning
Hello.
hair. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you. And is my lighting okay? You can see me all good?
It is. Yeah, I probably maybe angle the camera just a little bit down so that we get more of a face. I'm loving the background. Are you in the backyard?
No.
Gorgeous.
No, it's my plant obsession. So
well, your plant obsession.
A begonia maculata. Sorry.
That's exactly what I thought it was. I'm glad you mentioned that because I was wondering, is that a begonia immaculata? And my theory was correct.
Spot on that.
How are you?
Very well.
So you're a botanist as well as a beekeeper.
It's really exciting.
I'm excited to have you here. It's so for those of you who don't know us, we actually met about 6 years ago?
At least, yeah.
Yeah, about that time when Fee came to work at P&O Cruises, and she was working in supply chain and sitting just an aisle away from me in entertainment. And we just hit it off. We started working. She was a huge help to me with getting some amazing speakers for our food and wine cruises. And we sailed on an epic one together.
We did.
So Fee's been my go-to when it comes to looking for anything, looking for any sort of product. She is my supply chain guru. And it is just really exciting to have you here to talk about your passion project, I guess we could call it, Rosebery Honey.
Absolutely.
So I would like to know, how did you make the trend? How did you start beekeeping? How does one just go, you know what, I'm going to just start beekeeping in my backyard?
I suppose it's always been on my to-do list. And something that I've always thought in the back of my mind, I want to be a beekeeper. I want to have honey from my backyard, and I also want to have chooks as well, but I'm not allowed to. But definitely something that I did a lot of research into. Michael, my other half, purchased this place about 30 years ago, and the previous owners had beehives. So when they moved out, they took their beehives with them late at night, because you can really only move them late at night, and they dropped one. So there was literally thousands and thousands of bees all over the floor, and it was kind of like, see ya, you're now the beekeeper. So it was actually Michael who got me into beekeeping. Crazy stuff.
That's like
that's
my
how it started.
nightmare right there.
I've heard. So he had bees on and off over the years, and just had one or two hives, and it just sort of it started from there. He did do a lot of overseas travel at the same time, so the bees, you know, he had them, and then they would swarm, and then he would you know, get new bees, and when I moved in about 10 years ago, it was, yeah, just a swarm turned up, which a swarm is like usually the football-shaped cluster of bees that happened in spring. And
So
I
like
said,
in My Girl,
gee, it would be
like,
great. Yes, yeah, totally. And he goes, well, I've got some beekeeping equipment in the top of the garage, and that was it. We rescued the swarm that was off the rose bush, I think it was at the time, and it really started from there. Yeah. So
how do
it's
you
only a
rescue a
hobby, and
swarm?
so in
Oh, sorry, I think there's a delay.
spring, uh, we're right now.
We're good. I just think there's a delay in in so it sounds like I'm speaking over you. I'm not meaning to.
Oh, okay. So in spring, basically a colony of bees, which consists of one queen and queen bee, and 90% female bees, and then a 95% female bees, and then a drone, then some drones, which are the male bees. They basically, and from the existing colony, for various reasons. It can be congestion or a failing queen. And yeah, basically they look for a new home, and that's where I come in and catch them, save them, and give them a new home. So that's what happened. It wasn't something that I,
Wow.
you know, purchased a colony. It just started from there.
And so, and now you're saving bees and saving hives from other properties as well?
Yeah, so there's a lot of beehive. I mean, there's been an increase in urban beekeeping, so definitely in Sydney, which is wonderful to see. But each spring, that one colony becomes two, so they can end up in crazy places. So whether it can be on windscreens of cars or buildings or compost bins, just weird places that they consider home, or temporary home, and that's where I come along and save them before the pest guys come and spray them or kill them, and then give them a safe home. So I'll rehome them. Yeah.
So how I'm trying to visualize. So because I think it was on Instagram, was there a swarm or a hive, I guess, a swarm. I'm using the wrong terminology. Like in the wheel of a car. Was that there was like
Yeah.
I mean,
So that was down in Darlinghurst, and that was near one of the art universities, I think, and it was a colony that had lived happily in a brick wall, and then they spring came, they decided to split, and so the queen took off with a certain members of her colony, and looked for a new home, and that's where I came along. I had the call, because I'm a swarm collector, like a Ghostbuster, but I'm a swarm collector.
I love it.
And I come along and scoop them up basically and give them a new home, a safe home, before the car reversed or went forward on them and squashed them, or people call the police, people call the fire brigade, but yeah, eventually it gets back to a beekeeper, and that's where we step in and save them, rescue them, and give them, a safe home.
Wow, I have the Ghostbusters theme like in my head now. It's like, who are you gonna call? Fiona Moffat. It's just gonna play now in my head
Yeah,
for like the rest of the the rest of the live.
I'm all right
I
with
want a
that.
video. I want a video of you coming in your gear, you know,
Yes.
like saving the day. That is amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a lot of fun, and there's always a big crowd, or not a big crowd, but there's always a crowd of people that are just fascinated by what we're doing, and yeah, and it's a good time to educate people about what's actually happening, and it's a natural part of a bee's I suppose life, and yeah, it's awesome. It's a lot of fun. I look forward to it. Normally happens September, October, and yeah, it's something that we do a lot of preparation for to go and yeah have the equipment and the time to rescue the bees. So it's great.
Wow. So speaking of bees' lives, I feel like this needs to be added to your business card. But can you explain a little bit around why bees are important to the environment? Because there's been a lot of talk about this over the past few years. It's something that I don't personally really understand. I'm just so scared of them. So I would love to find out more.
Sure. It's probably got a lot to do with food security, which is a really important topic at the moment. So without bees, our lives would look extremely different. We think COVID and the isolation was a bit tough on us. Without bees, we have no coffee, we have no chocolate, we have no cotton, we don't have a lot of things. So that's ultimately why they're important for food security, to ensure that we have enough food. So without bees, pollination looks a little bit different. We rely on humans to hand pollinate, and also, I mean, honey's amazing, honey's delicious, honey's so important to us, and it never goes off. So it can
I
forever
know,
and
I
ever
discovered
and
that
ever. Like
recently as
there's no other
well.
food source.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, Nick
yeah.
was
So
saying earlier that apparent. Oh, sorry, I was just you go.
no, I finished. All good.
Yeah. So Nick was saying earlier that there was an Egyptian tomb that was found to contain a pot of honey, and they said that you could eat it now. It's thousands of years old, and yet you could still eat it. It's absolutely amazing. I love Ainsley has just jumped on and said, "No chocolate without bees. Give me a hive ASAP."
Yes. So true, Ainsley. Yes. Yeah. Or coffee.
Yeah, I had I guess I just didn't understand because I think as someone who has had a fear of bees for so long, and I love honey and appreciate honey, I guess other people would have as well, just not thought about a world without bees. I think I was telling you on the phone a couple of weeks ago that I don't know if it's a sign or a bad sign or bad juju, but everywhere I move, the only bees that I find are like either dead bees or they're dying, like they're crawling on the floor dying. So I'm like, is that
Mm.
because they know I don't like them? Or is there something that I can do? Not that, and I don't want to attract them to my house, but is there something? What are they looking for? Why are they coming to my backyard to die?
Really depends on the season. So if it's really hot in summer, they're probably looking for water.
Yeah.
So it's important that we put some. I have a bird bath out the front, and I happily put champagne corks in there. Collect the champagne corks, put them in there because bees can't swim. And so
Oh,
they float on the floating champagne corks and collect water. So they can use that water back as take it back to the hive and use it for make their little air conditioning system to cool down the hives. Yeah, so it could be that, unless they've been sprayed, which is a really, really sad sight to see. Usually they have their little tongues out if they have been sprayed, and that's the end of their life. So, you know, if there's, you know, a little straw out the front, that's unfortunately, you know, could be from neonicotinoids or some sort of spray. In the summer, they when they're foraging a lot, they're really exposed to the elements, so yeah, it tends to shorten their life. So it could be for a variety of reasons.
That's a great idea, though. So in order for us to help the bees, we can put bowls of water out with champagne corks. Great reason to drink some more champagne. and that's something that we can do. Is there anything else we could do?
Plant flowers, lots of flowers, colourful flowers. If you've got a herb garden or a veggie garden, let it go to seeds. You know, let the flowers bloom, let the bees come and forage for nectar. Put water out. Don't use neonicotinoids like Roundup, those harsh sprays. And if you do come across a swarm, September or October is peak time for swarms, call a beekeeper. We will happily, ding ding, beekeeper fee, come and collect the swarm. And usually we do it for no cost as well. So we will happily do it, especially if it's in our vicinity, and rehome them. And do you know what? 9 times out of 10 we'll go, here's a jar of honey when it's when that swarm is produced, just as a thank you.
Oh, wow. Well, Ginger Beats has just asked if beekeeping is a possible career option. Because she said you're in Rosebery, so it's very urban.
It is very urban. So for me, it's not. It's only a hobby. I would love to have it as a full-time job, but it is seasonal at the same time. But there's definitely full-time beekeepers. Commercial beekeepers generally have about 100 hives. So yeah, definitely career options. There's a few courses that Tokau College do, which is up in Patterson, near the Hunter Valley or in the Hunter Valley. And that's a good start if you want to progress into a commercial beekeeping career.
Wow, okay. And yes, cheers for the bees, Castanelane.
Yes.
And the Guilty Diner. I'm all for
Cass.
more champagne. Well, there you go. Drink more champagne, Hayden, and then pop those bowls out with water and float your corks to save the bees.
Yep. You can also get those big foam noodles, and you know the foam noodles for the pools, those colourful things. You can also chop them into like a salami, and float them in your in a bowl of water or something, and they'll also float on them, or a bowl of marbles with water. Lots of things you can do. Just think of a little insect that can't swim, and they need to yeah. Lots of options there.
Awesome. Ginger Beats has just come on and said that it seems like very hard work, heavy lifting and lots of stings, which leads very well to one of my other questions. Can you tell us some horror stories?
I'm probably a bit immune to stings now. So when I remember when, you know, coming into the carnival office with you, and I had a big welt on my leg like that. But now I know what to do when I get stung, or give advice. So basically, if you feel that sting, just sting her out straight away. That's the best thing to do. That'll stop the venom from pumping into your system. And usually, can I do that? Usually you get like a credit card or your nail and just scrape it out.
Oh, so no
That's as simple
tweezers.
as it is. Don't no tweezers. Just grab your nail or something, you know, just scrape it out. And the sooner you get it out, the better your recovery will be. But I have been
Oh,
stung.
wow.
I do like to push my luck when I goes into the when I go into the beehives. I don't always wear protection, and getting stung on the face
Oh,
isn't
Fee.
great. So I normally do puff up, or you know, get a few, you know, lose my sight for a couple of days or something like that. But that's only because I've been down the back, haven't had a mirror to pull the stinger out, and yeah, just my neglect, my fault entirely by not wearing the proper protection. So I've got my
Well,
suit
that
here.
is great advice. Oh, really?
So yeah, our suits are pretty industrial. Um, they've got many layers of I don't know if you can see that, of
Yeah.
mesh and protection. And yeah, we wear them for a reason. But then there's a lot of people that don't wear don't wear bee suits or beekeeping suits, and just rely on smoke and moving slowly and calmly, and that, yeah.
It looks so old fashioned, like a kind of old, you know, horror movie, picnic at Hanging Rock type, you know, out with the beak. I'm going back to the whole horror, aren't I? I really need to let that go. My girl did a number on me when I was a child.
Yeah, that was sad. We also wear gloves, which these
Good.
look like they're filthy, dirty gloves, but it's actually propolis on the gloves, which is, so these are leather gloves, but this is all propolis, which is the antibacterial product that the bees produce. So we might look like we're
Yeah.
dirty, but we're super clean, us beekeepers.
Well, we're going to talk about propolis a little later on. Ginger Beats has just mentioned the focus on local production at the moment, and perhaps local businesses might be interested in buying your honey. So why don't we jump across to Rosebery Honey, and can you tell us about the unique way that you actually sell?
Sure. So I have an honesty system. I grew up in the country, so I've always been a big fan of buying produce at the farm gate. So whether it's flowers or watermelons or oranges or anything like that. So yeah, just decided to replicate that into the city. So we have the honesty system out the front of our house. We fill the jars up. We have an honesty letterbox so that people put the money in, and we've sold lots and lots and lots of jars, and every single jar is accounted for, which is amazing. I really believe in giving people the opportunity to do the right thing, and they've proved us right. Sometimes we might be missing $1 when we count the money and reconcile it against the jars, and you know, 5 days later we'll get an envelope with, you know, 20-cent pieces in them, making up $1, going, sorry, I was short, or we
Oh,
find it
wow.
in the bushes. So it's lovely. I live in the most amazing suburb in Sydney that really are honest and love the honey, love the bees, and yeah, it's great. So it's a stand that we put out. People help themselves and put the money in the letterbox. That's it. It's awesome.
It's just amazing. I love how old school it is, and how it really does sound like it brings a community together. You know, I want to live in Rosebery. It's wonderful. Ian just asked if you sell online. So no, Ian, she just sells via the Honesty Stand. And if you, when we finish the live, if you go to the post on our Instagram page and scroll across, the one with Fiona's photo on it, advertising tonight, scroll across to, and you'll see the Honesty Stand there. And there's heaps of photos on the Rosebery Honey page as well. It's just gorgeous too. This beautiful kind of antique table. It's phenomenal, and you sell out all the time because I haven't had any for years.
All the time. I don't think I'm popular with the Rosebery community at the moment because they're all wanting more honey, especially during COVID and to get them through the flu season in winter. But we just don't have any at the moment. There could be a small amount in the hives, but we need to leave it for the bees to use as their stores over winter in case there's no flowers in bloom. But yeah, it's unlikely. But when I do open up the lid, it will decrease the temperature. And the bees don't like it too cold. They need that same temperature all throughout the year. So unfortunately, I can't even lift up the lid. But come September, October, November, right through to April, heaps of honey.
Yes. Well, it looks like Tam5 said it's worth the trip to Rosebery. And Trudy, I agree with you. Rosebery honey is delicious. It is the best honey I have ever tasted. And on that note, there's so many different types of honey. So how do you plant certain flowers to make it taste a certain way, or can you explain the different types of honey that are available and why?
Sure. So we have what I call a multifloral or polyfloral honey. So the bees in our backyard fly within 5 kilometres of the hives. So they can forage on literally thousands and thousands of different botanicals. And that's what gives it the unique flavour. So it changes from batch to batch depending on what's in what's flowering at the time. So, I do get people go, oh, have you got a Manuka honey or a red cum or an ironbark or something? But because of where the bees are situated, where the hives are, it's really up to the floral diversity in the area. If it is an ironbark, that's likely to be in a very rural setting, rural and remote setting, and therefore they forage on just that flower or that botanical.
Yeah. So why is Manuka honey, the one as being the best?
Oh, that's pretty controversial question. I think it really depends. It is. It just has very special properties, basically. Super, even though, raw honey and urban honey and monofloral honeys all have very special properties, but Manuka is they've done a lot of research and proven that it can help with wound healing and all a variety of health properties. Yeah, so a lot of research has been done into Manuka honey.
So earlier you mentioned the propolis on your gloves, and since we chatted a while ago, and actually a long while ago, and you mentioned propolis, I have been delving deep into what it actually is. So it's another substance that bees produce that is kind of like a resinous substance, right? That holds the hive together. I've written notes so I don't get it wrong, and it acts as, yay! Here's some I prepared earlier.
Just so happen I have some propolis here.
As you do.
Yeah, so that's a ball of propolis basically from our hives.
Wow. It's kind of magical because it's antibacterial, but they're also conducting studies on using propolis in cancer treatments and cancer prevention. That little ball of magic. Thank you, bees.
Absolutely. And it smells like honey or beeswax, but just that little bit more sour, and it's very I mean it's quite cold in here now, but they use it as so it's quite
Yeah.
squishy as well.
So does
So
it sit?
that's just some propolis.
Does it sit? So I'm kind of thinking of like the shelves that you take out of a hive with the honeycomb. Where is the propolis in that? Is that like around the edges, just kind of seal it, or?
Exactly, they'll use it wherever they find a gap, and they will. It's like their putty or their glue. So that's what they yeah, that's what they use. So in a frame, and I looked to see if I had a frame in storage to show you, but just say that that's a frame. It'd be along the edges generally, and when
Oh,
we
okay.
uncap the cells, I often scrape off a little bit of propolis. I have a few elderly ladies in the community that love propolis. I don't know what they do, but I'm sure they make amazing concoctions with it. But they really rely on it for the health benefits of propolis. I think you can make a tincture with in vodka and stuff.
Oh,
Good stuff.
that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're like, I need my vodka propolis fix. Fee, hook me up.
It's my medicine.
Yes. Just taking my evening tincture.
Exactly, and it's yeah, they love it. They come knocking for propolis, definitely.
Oh, that is fabulous. And it's a great segue into talking about honey and propolis in skincare. There are a lot of skincare ranges out there that utilize propolis for its benefits, but I wanted to dig deep into honey. And I swear, I've now just started on a journey where I have to, we need to collaborate. I really, really would be so interested. And yes, Ginger Beats, you've just come up and said that my products are vegan. And how do I sit with bees? Well, I don't use honey or honeycomb or any derivatives in any of my skincare. But I'm interested in looking into it and looking into how it could be done ethically, if it could be done ethically, and whether it would align with my values. So that's literally what I'm looking into now. So thank you for that question, Ginger Beats. It's exactly what I was doing research on today. But honey is very, there are so many benefits. It's antibacterial, antimicrobial, it's moisturizing, it's age-defying, it's great for fine lines and wrinkles. It has got such a huge heap of benefits that you really can harness, and you can harness yourselves by making up some little DIY skincare products like masks and exfoliants. Queen Cleopatra and Nefertiti used to use honey in their milk baths, you know, back in the day. And the evidence of honey use goes back thousands and thousands of years. And I found out something very interesting. Did you know that the term honeymoon actually comes from the ancient Egyptians? They used to make hot honey-based beverages for a month. Every day they drink them for a month after someone got married as a good luck kind of thing. And that's where the word honeymoon came from.
Wow. No, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
It's so random, but they've seen evidence of bees and hives in hieroglyphics found in ancient Egyptian burial tombs, and it was one of those things where once I opened the you know the door, I just like plunged deep into the rabbit hole of honey.
Yeah.
And I just think that there's so much that you can do with it. So I've actually put together some skincare recipes, and I've popped them live on the website. They literally went live 5 minutes before this.
Fantastic.
So I'm going to walk you through some. You can tell me what you think because we're all going to learn very soon that you're a skincare aficionado. So, but don't worry if you don't have a pen and paper, because you can head to pinkhibiscus.com.au, just click on blogs and then skincare tips and rituals, and all the recipes are there, along with some of those fun facts that I just shared. Ginger Beats has just said that Eastern Europeans have been drinking honey wine for millennia. Slovakians drink medovina, like the Germans drink mead. There you go. Oh my goodness, Ginger Beats, you're a wealth of knowledge. Thank you for joining us.
I just need to show you this amazing product that my beautiful friend Tammy made me for my birthday from Rosebery Honey. Yeah, it's amazing, and I'm sure that you've got more information, but it is just such a gorgeous skincare. Beautiful ingredient, anti-inflammatory, and all of that. But that's your area of expertise for sure.
I think that we both know you have a very big finger dipped in the skincare pot too. So I've learned so much from you over the years about skincare. It's fantastic. I love it. But where you say it's anti-inflammatory, something that is super simple, and all the recipes that I put together are utilizing raw honey. So actually, in saying that, Fee, could you explain what raw honey is and how it differs, and can we just get it from the supermarket if Rosebery honey is out of stock?
Yes. Yeah, so there is a few lines in Coles and Woolworths at the moment with raw honey. So I think Beechworth is doing some. Capilano, I think, also have a raw honey range. So it just basically means it's not heat treated. The beauty of buying from your local beekeeper, which I'm sure there's local beekeepers in every suburb, you've just got to find us. And we basically extract, we don't heat treat our honey, so it keeps all those amazing properties of the honey there, instead of, pasteurizing it and doesn't make it as potent as what it could be. Yeah, so raw honey is what Rosebery honey is, and a lot of sell to people is just means it hasn't been heat treated.
So if honey can be, has no expiration date, why is it heat treated? Why do people do that?
To, you see those squeezy, it's to make it more, first of all, it's to stop it from crystallizing, so it doesn't turn into a solid mass. And to make it more viscous to squeeze out of those squeezy bottles. And, some people, even some of my friends, Trudy Maloney, think that, when it crystallizes, it's no good. But you can return it back to its liquid state by gently heating it, like in a ideally, on a beautiful summer's day, put your crystallized honey outside in the sun, let it warm up naturally, and it'll return to its beautiful liquid state. But it's basically as a part of blending honey and to make it more of a liquid state. Yeah, so you can spread it or squeeze it or. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. Trudy, I'm with you. I thought that as well until I found out that there was no expiration date on it.
Trudy now knows. And she's a big supporter of, she goes to the farmers markets and buys local honey from her area, which is awesome.
Oh, that's fabulous. I need to search for, if anyone out there knows of local beekeepers in the Parramatta area, please reach out to me. I need to find someone. But back to the DIY skincare recipes. One of the easiest things that you can do if you do suffer from blemishes or bites. I woke up the other night, actually. I got bitten by like a repeat mosquito. I've still got the bite, numerous bites just underneath. It was very annoying. And what you can do is get a cotton bud and some raw honey And all you do is place it on the bites or the blemishes, and it will take the redness away. It will help with inflammation, and it's antibacterial. So it's fantastic in healing it. So that's number one. It's not really a recipe, but I had to pop that in. So number two, I put together a bit of an ISO skin mask, which was another very simple concoction that you can make using 1 tablespoon of raw honey, 2 drops of lavender, and 1 drop of tea tree oil. So what this is going to do, it's going to detox the skin. I know a lot of people were experiencing what everyone was dubbing ISO skin because they weren't getting out as much. They were probably eating a little bit worse than they normally would, getting into those snack shelves, and you know, oh my gosh, I had a whole section of my pantry was just snacks. So this is really great for detoxing, purifying, but still maintaining the moisture in your skin, which is something that I preach whenever I can, because a lot of people would think that you need to get rid of all the oil and get rid of all the moisture to treat blemishes, and it's actually the opposite. So that's a really great mask for that. With all these masks, I recommend cleansing beforehand, cleansing afterwards, and then spritzing, applying eye cream or moisturizer as you normally would. And you leave the mask to sit for 15 to 20 minutes. It's a very interesting feel on the skin. It feels gooey. It's definitely not to be used as a sleep mask. No, lying down or touching anything with your face. But it really is so nourishing. A really great idea is to pop on this mask and then hop in the bath and just create an absolute beautiful self-care ritual. The steam will also help the mask penetrate the skin. And I mean, take a note out of Queen Cleopatra's book, wipe it off with a washer and let it stay in the bath, and voila, there's your honey bath, Queen Cleopatra.
Beautiful. Sounds lovely. Sounds gorgeous.
Another one that I put together was a nourishing mask, which is 1 tablespoon of raw honey, 2 tablespoons of plain natural Greek yogurt, and you just mix it up, and that's great for a wonderful infusion of moisture. And if you want to make a bit of an exfoliating mask, everyone knows I love my two products that do 2 things. This is exfoliating and uses a mask. You can blend 1 to 2 tablespoons of oats, depending on how much of an exfoliation you want. So blend it until it comes down to like a kind of granular powder. And you mix that with 1 tablespoon of honey and half a ripe avocado. And when you apply it, rather than just applying it as you would a mask, you actually massage it into the skin to exfoliate, but then you let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes as well before wiping off with a warm face washer. So all of those recipes are at pinkhibiscus.com.au under blog and skincare tips and rituals. But you inspired me, Fee. Awesome. Love.
It's there's also the.
You go.
There's the curly hair girl method as well, and they use which is a way of treating your hair and nourishing your hair, especially if you've got waves. And they recommend using honey as a conditioner.
Really?
A hair conditioner.
So a deep conditioner where you put it in and leave it, and then I can't imagine how it would wash out of hair.
Oh, I'm going to give it a go. I'll let you know.
That's a great tip. Yeah.
Yeah. And
really
there's a lot
good
of beekeepers that also, when they get stung, the first thing they do is put honey on, raw honey from their hives on the sting, and that can also take down the inflammation as well.
I love that. And it's wonderful. And yes, heading into flu season, my nonna and mum, first step whenever I had any sign of cold, it was honey, lemon, boiling water, done, sorted.
Yeah. Yeah. I grew up on apple cider vinegar, honey, and boiling water, or warm water.
Yeah, that's a great blend as well. That's another fantastic product that has so many different uses. But let's jump across into skincare. I'm just wary of the time. And I know Instagram loves kicking me off because I talk too much. So we're going to head into the Pink Hibiscus Beauty Rapid Fire. Starting with, what is the best beauty advice you've ever been given?
It's recent advice is to buy a silk pillowcase.
Yeah.
It's good for your hair, good for your skin, and once you feel silk and feel its benefits and you know, wake up the next morning and not have creases on your face and your hair's not full of knots, yeah, you'll realize. So silk pillowcases all the way. Definitely.
It's amazing. You can, my style box actually has them. Naomi stocks them and has long been an advocate of silk pillowcases. And so we've got them now. And the thing that I love probably most is that I can have my hair done and I can sleep and I'll wake up and it just looks the same. There's no rubbing around. Your hair will look amazing tomorrow, Fee, because you sleep on a silk pillowcase.
And I have a really good hairdresser as well.
Yes, I have a feeling I'm watching earlier. What is the one skincare product that you can't live without?
Cleanser. Definitely a foaming cleanser. I need to wash my face morning and night. I just can't. It's like brushing my teeth and it needs to happen. So cleanser, definitely.
I need to get you to try lotion cleanser. I have to.
Yes.
I have to.
I also use my my Pink Hibiscus spray all throughout the day because I work from home in air conditioning. So I go, Michael, come here, and I spray him, and he loves it as well.
Oh, your rose quartz facial spritz. Love it, love it. But no, I need to send you a cleanser. I want you to try it because I know you're a foaming girl, but it's going to be my mission to convert you to lotion. Yeah, not necessarily to mine, just to a lotion cleanser. Just give it a go. What does your morning skincare routine look like?
It's intense. It's cleanse. I cleanse twice, and I put serums on, moisturizer, different moisturizer for my neck. Put by Terry Baume de Rose. I spritz in the very end with the rose quartz to set everything. And just to give that little bit of extra hydration. So it's pretty intense. And then I a light makeup just so I don't look scary on daily Zoom calls.
So it's lucky you don't need to leave the house because it doesn't sound like you ever would.
No. I'm too busy cleaning my face and getting ready. But I do have a daily Zoom call which keeps me in check with making sure that I'm ready and I've done all my skin preparation because I can't skimp on it. I just can't skimp.
Well, I'm very proud of you, but I'm almost afraid to ask what your evening skincare routine looks like because most people don't do much in the morning and they do it all in the evening. So what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I'm probably opposite. So my evening is cleanse twice again, and then apply a tret, a vitamin A or retinol or whatever it is. It's a prescription one. I slather that all over my face, go to bed, and that's it. Eye cream, neck cream. Yeah, it's pretty easy at night. I'm fine with that.
There you go. It's the opposite. That's very interesting. I love it. I've never heard that before. So if we were to take a sneak peek into your handbag, what beauty products would we find?
We would find by Terry Baume de Rose lip gloss, which is my little bit of dream. but it's also a necessity. Definitely Pink Hibiscus hand sanitizer. Thank goodness you made that before we went into ISO or just at the beginning. So I was lucky enough to get my hands on that. That's in my car and also in my handbag. And
Love it.
we've got a few scattered around the house as well. Viteri hyaluronic face powder, and that's it. That's it.
I was expecting it to be so much more.
No, it goes on once and it stays on. I also, yeah, that's it. That's it.
Very cool. So, what piece of advice would you give your younger self?
I think you may not like yourself, or I may not have liked myself or been a huge fan of myself in my younger years, but you know, other people do, and I still think that now. Some days I have off days and don't like myself, but you know, then other people like me, I suppose, if I can say that.
How can you not? You're Fiona Moffat.
But it's just yeah, you mightn't like what you see, but other people do. That's probably my advice. We're our harshest critics, and yeah, other people don't see our flaws like we do.
That's so true. That's so true. I think that exactly right. We're our own worst critic. Nick actually said to me today that you are one of the nicest people he's ever met. So there you go. And he refers to you as gorgeous Fee. So, you know.
That's lovely. That's nice.
That's absolutely beautiful. You are an amazing woman. You are always someone who I can rely on. You've been there in very interesting situations. And you're kind of, even though we don't see each other often, I always feel like I could call you at any time and chat to you about anything. And you really are my guru on so many different levels. Yes, Trudy, Fee is wonderful. And so I do hope that you see that in the mirror and how amazing you are. And you're gorgeous and your hair looks amazing. Very envious of your hair. I always have been. We have had a question come through from Hayden at the Guilty Diner. What is your favorite food dish to use with your honey?
Oh, I love my cheeses, and I love white mold cheeses and cheddars and aged cheddars and blue cheeses. So honey or honeycomb over some cheese is the bomb. That's my guilty pleasure. The saltiness, and you know, I've got some honeycomb here. That's on some cheese is just amazing. It gives it that textural element, and also the sweet and the sticky, and with the salty, and whether it's a crispy bread or cracker, it's just the best.
Love it. I think that is the perfect place to wrap up. I really appreciate your time tonight, Fee. I cannot wait until your bees produce more honey in spring so I can get my fix to pop on my crumpets. And where can people find you?
I'm at the hives are at Kimberley Grove in Rosebery in New South Wales. So we're about 4 k's from the city. But hop onto my Instagram or Facebook page, and I normally announce when we've got the honey about 24 hours or 48 hours before I go into the hives, we extract and then bang, it's out the front. So the customers get the freshest, most delicious product possible. So it normally goes from hive to sale within 24, 48 hours. So Instagram or Facebook.
Well, I will definitely be keeping an eye on both of those, and I highly recommend everyone else does as well. Thank you so much for tonight, and thank you as well for getting me to head down the rabbit hole of all things honey. It's been fascinating, and I don't know if I would have done it had I not been about to chat to you. So it's been wonderful. And everyone check out at Rosebery Honey. We're going to pop this chat up with some more questions that we asked Fee onto the website within the next week. I do have a little bit of a backlog, but it'll go up within the next week. And if you do want to head to pinkhibiscus.com.au to access those recipes, I would love to see your recipes, photos, how you found them. Please share on Facebook, shoot me an email on Instagram. We'd love to see what you do with the masks and exfoliants. Thank you again, Fee, and we will speak very soon.
Thanks, Nat. Thanks for having me, and thanks everyone for joining in. Thank
Bye.
you.
Oh yes, thanks. Everyone's been very engaging.
Yes.
Love it.
Thank you.
Have a great night, everyone. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.